Now here is a sample of the Bickford joining stitch. As you can see, it's noticeable that there is a seam there, not quite as good as the other one that we just saw. However, when you turn it over, the flat side is completely flat. You can see that there is no ridge there, nothing that would make a dark line on a baby's head when you removed it after wearing it, or socks which would be very uncomfortable with a ridge down the seam, whereas this would be quite nice. So that's the Bickford stitch. In order to finish with the Bickford stitch, we have to be able to recognize the difference between loops and knots. Loops are very simply looking like this: two parallel stitches going in there without crossing, and then that's the loop there. Next one over is the knot, where you can see they cross over each other. It's not always apparent, but you can see that there is a definite cross there. Whereas the next one over here, again, we have to get right on the edge. That's a loop. See, they go both together, they don't cross each other, whereas these have a definite crossing thing there. And there's another loop. Move that over here, and these cross. That's a knot. And when we're picking up the stitches, we're picking the outside edge. So right here on the loop, and right on this one on the knot. The loop here, and the knot over there. And we have to make sure we get right on the outside. If you get the inside one, it'll create a little bit of a lump. And again, on the opposite side here, we have the same type of thing, where we have the loops there, and then a knot here, and we have to make sure we get the outside of the knot, and not make the mistake of just picking this one up because we haven't turned it towards us. So you have to make sure you're right on the edge here by turning this knitting. There's the loop there, and there's the knot there. Now I'm going to finish off this knitting. I've been doing from the loop to the knot, then over here to the loop, back to the knot on this side. But then the yarn is on this side, you always go into a loop on this side. So there's the loop. Now I have to search for the knot on the other side, and that was the loop that I came out of. So there's the knot, and I have got the outside edge. So that looks good. Pull that through. And then coming back on the same side, there's the loop that's right next to it. So I put the needle through there, roll this one up, find the knot, see how much I have to turn it, and there's the knot right there. So I go through. Sometimes it's not easy to do it, so sometimes I have to open it up that way. There it is. Sometimes they close up a little bit, so we'll pull that through, and then just gently tighten it up. And right here, we came out there, and there's the loop right on the edge. Coming this way. Again, there's the knot right on the outside edge. So pull that through. Coming back, there's the loop next to where I came out. And on this side, there's the knot. There's the outside part of the knot right there. Pull that through. Again, a little tug. And then there's the loop right next to it. On the same side I came out. And over here, right underneath there is the loop. Knot, I should say. That's the knot. Pull that a little bit tight, going through the loop on this side and finding the knot, because I came out of there. So there's the knot. Sometimes just a little tricky to find it, but not too bad. And a loop here, and the knot over there, and so forth all the way up. Now, to help make sure you don't miss anything, what I sometimes do is I put little markers on the edges on both sides. So every 10 stitches, 20, 30 stitches, depending on what you're feeling comfortable with, so that if a marker showed up on here, for example, then I know that there should be a marker on this side within one. It's not going to be exact because we're not exactly off, but it should only be off by one. So it should either be on this one, the one before it, or the one after it. If it's neither of those three, which is within one of this, then you're off and you have to check back and you check this out and say, what's wrong there? Is there anything that looks a little crazy? But as you can see, that looks pretty good. I mean, it's not perfect, but yeah, it's not too bad. But flip it over and look how nice and flat that is. Perfect for a hat or for socks. And for socks or a hat, you're really not going to really notice that. Now here is the finished results of the Bickford stitch. I did about half the length just because I'm going to do the other half in a different method. As you can see, it looks pretty good. It's not perfect, but you can see there's a join there, but it looks pretty nice, and of course nice and flat on the flip side here. Now this method where I did loop to knot and then loop to knot, back and forth. You can also go knot to knot, loop to loop, knot to knot, and that would just give a slightly different look. I just prefer this method. So that's the Bickford stitch.